Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Unconditional Surrender, published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. This is the August 1945 turn of the Soviet versus West scenario. A couple of mistakes I made. The Soviets actually start with both of their surprise attack markers in their events, not just one. I don't know where I got that from. And the armored unit that is just west of Munich, I forgot I had a movement point, and he would have moved forward to make sure that the first French was isolated. And this airplane just west of Zagreb would have had to have an extra sortie on it because of miscounting how many sorties I took in a ground strike by the Americans, or when I was ground striking the Americans earlier. So I corrected those things. And we will get started here. We start off with the weather phase. Weather is, of course, just fine. There's no declarations of war. And the economy, I, set the Soviet stuff to 42. And strategic warfare is just a straight die roll. A 3 does nothing. 3s and 4s does nothing. 1 and 2 is the Soviet, and 5 and 6 is the West. So that's a bust. I didn't see any logical strategic movements here. I need to move all my armies in the West to try and plug these huge gaps that were created from the last turn. And the Soviets didn't have any of them because everything's at the front. So we go right on into Western operations phase. First thing we're going to do is we're going to try and take out some Russian air so that they don't interfere with my plugging the gaps and trying to push them back a bit. And set the die roll modifiers. Of course, I roll a 1, so I take a sortie, and so do the Russians. Then I just pop myself up to 2, and it's automatic when you're at 5. They can't, at -5, they can't hurt me, and so I don't even need to roll the dice. Then I move down to the south. You'll notice the British Air Force is doing the work because the Americans have so many sorties on them from being whacked by the Russian Air Force. Again, I roll a 1, so I'm not doing too well here. And then I switch focus. The reason why I'm switching focus here is because I do not want to go at -4 with -2. I'd rather try and chip them down while I'm still at 0. Then I rolled a 5, which is a guaranteed 2 for 1. Again, die roll doesn't even need to be made. If you do the math on the combat results table, you can figure this all out. I went to -1 and went after the airplane the other airplane in central Germany there, and didn't quite get enough. I needed at least a 4. So went ahead and took my sorties there for that plane and the other plane in the south. Then the Russian Air Force is down. Unfortunately, it took me 7 sorties to take out 2, 4, 6, 8 sorties. So not too good in the air war. This doesn't bode well. So I move Bomber Command up so I'll have support for air. And I move the 8th Air Force up again so I have support for air in my moves that are to come. Sal said attack with the 9th. He's the only one that gave me any information, any kind of ideas. Sal said that I should attack with the 9th here against the 4th Guards. I thought really hard about it, and I thought if I get the 2nd Armored around with air support, I should be able to retreat this guy, which is all I really want, and then I can have the British armor go into 26. I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit for us. So I could go into 26, 23, which is a mountain hex, and then be able to retreat into Hanover. So I thought that was probably a pretty good idea. So I went about doing that. have 5 movement points left after I make the attack. I start off at 1, 2 for the armor. He starts off at 1, the Russians. I'm going to definitely throw in an airplane. The Russians choose not to use, since they only have 2 armored units, and this is not like a city hex, which is critical. I thought, no, I think I'll just let him take his attack. So it was +5 to +1. He rolled a 7. I rolled a 2, which flipped me and retreated me, which is what the British wanted. They go ahead and take their hex and say, I'm done. Then I moved the 8th Army back. This was one of Sal's suggestions, which I totally missed, which made sense. By moving the 8th Army back, I'm still protecting Venice. I'm keeping somewhat of a contiguous line, and it's going to allow me to use the 5th Army here in a minute. First, I'm going to go with the BEF. They're going to move into Frankfurt to retake the thing. And then we adjust the willpower. West goes back up to 10, the Russians go down to 16. I go ahead and attack at Stuttgart. I was hoping to get a retreat here. I threw in an airplane. I can't remember. And the Russians threw in their tank. And the British threw in their tank, so it became a +4 because it's +5. British is +1, +2 for tanks, +2 for an airplane, but -1 because I'm attacking cities, so it's only a +4 to a +3. And then I got a really good number. I got a 10. And they got a 4, which flipped and retreated them, so I took the hex. Got up to 12 willpower. The Russians are down to 14. And then we put those things on the turn track. And then the next thing I did is I brought the Western Desert Force down to sit in Frankfurt, and then the 9th Army moved here and went ahead and did an attack on the 2nd Guards. Oops, I'm going to hit back again. Attacked the 2nd Guards. It wasn't the greatest attack, but my idea was if I could flip them. I didn't think I would kill them, but if I could flip them, I could blunt his offensive, his counteroffensive that's going to obviously come no matter what I do. But I couldn't roll. I rolled a 5, he rolled a 9, so that just kind of... Then the 5th Army moved over to attack the 5th Guards. It wasn't a very good attack. The Russians decided not to use an armored unit, a tank unit there, since they only have 1 left. And it was an 8 to a 4, which forced a retreat, but I chose not to take the hex because I wanted to keep my lines of communication open. And then I go ahead and use the 1st French to attack the 4th Guards. Throw in an airplane, so it's +5 to +3. I get a 10, he gets an 8, so nothing happened there, so I went again. And I got an 8 to a 5, so I finally retreated him. Now I didn't take the hex because I wanted to move to there. Then I attacked Munich, I believe. Got a 10 to his 3, which flipped him and made him retreat. Now I thought about taking Munich, and then I looked at it, and if I go into Munich, into this hex, it's a 1 hex move for the 8th Guards to come down, and then like this tank army up here could just go 1, 2, 3, 4, and have 2 attacks against me isolated. So they'd be +5, +4 to my +3, maybe 5, but they would have multiple ways of getting to me, and I really did not want to lose another ground unit because even though I'm getting back the American forces will be coming back here on the coastal things, they can't do anything this turn because their entire move will be just getting to freaking Europe. So I have to make sure that I save enough sorties in position to try and hold them off. So I did not take the hex. The next thing I did is I moved the Canadian to here rather than attacking from his hex. Then I attacked the second shock, threw in an airplane, basically using up the bomber. Got him to retreat and be flipped, which was a good thing. So then I went ahead and said, okay, I'll take on the third guards. I'm just trying to push people away. And they said, no, thank you. And I got eliminated. I should have thrown the tanks marker there probably. But I got eliminated, so went ahead and took the hex and attacked with my last bit, hoping to get another eliminated. I got a 9, but he rolled a 6, so he just retreated. So that didn't work like I wanted it to. But, pretty good, strong position there, I think. And then I was done. So Soviets, I did think a very long time on this. It won't show in the log how long I paused here, trying to figure out what the heck to do. And I decided to go for broke. I was going to go north, try and bust through the North German plain. The British only have 4 sorties left. I thought about going south here, but all the horrible terrain, I didn't have the movement points to get people to really make a breakthrough and get into northern Italy. I'd need some really extreme die rolls, several in a row, and I just didn't think I could pull it off, especially since I would have to deal with at least 2 American units, and they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got 3 for these guys down in the south, and they have another 2 for the 9th. So while I might be able to attack the 9th if I can get lucky and retreat the guy that's in the hill and get us surrounded on the 9th, east of Hanover there, I chose to try something else. So I moved the tank army up. And I moved the shock army up and threw in heavy artillery. All these guys went into an assault. So I ended up at, I counted it here, 1 for elite, 2 for an armored, 2 for shock, 2 for a shock, 2 for the heavy artillery, and then another 1 for the surprise attack marker. And the British throw in an airplane. The best they can get to is 3. You'll see I moved it up to 4, which is incorrect. They're only a +3. I make a note of that in a minute. And I got a 6-1 split in my favor. And originally I thought, oh my god, it's only a DD. But it actually was an eliminated because, and I made the note here in the log that it was actually a 3, not a 4. Because he's 1 for British, 2 for aircraft, and the 2 for armor is negated by the partisans. So that becomes actually a DE. So as that is removed, the entire northern German plain is going to be a problem. I go ahead and take the hex, get rid of the assault markers. Again, I had a sticky problem there. That's why that shock army moved like that. And then I get the heavy artillery back next turn, which is important. Now I move the infantry that's in Berlin, goes on a little run here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I was trying to put control markers down. And I take them down another 4 will points, which is kind of huge. Now this rinky-dink half-strength guards unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, can get all the way to Bremen. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got to Bremen. So had to move the airplane, so I moved it as little as possible to try and keep it in so it can support the guy in the hill. And they lost another 2 will points. And then this guard's tank army taking out a Leipzig. And I got a little confused here trying to move him around. And 10 puts him in Hanover. So now they lose another 2 national wills, so they're down to 3. And then I decided to go ahead and let's try and get rid of this. So now I'm attacking him at and this was a mistake on my part. I probably should have not done the assault here. I should have just attacked him mobily several times and assaulted later. But I went through and ended up with a net +8. Used the last heavy artillery. Thought about it and said, no, 8's good enough. Because of the thing. It was 8-5. And you'll see I rolled a 14 to an 8, which means all I got was a flip on him. See there. But because I didn't have any way of getting to him again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I decided to go after the 9th armored because he is isolated. 1, 2. You'll see me trying to count to see if I could get somehow there, but I couldn't, so ended up just taking this attack. Ended up a net of +4. Actually, I'm mistaken here. I should have been +5. 3 for the armor, 2 for isolation, 1 for the surprise attack, and 1 takes away the surprise attack marker. There we go. So it's +5 to +5, just trying to get a retreat. Rolled an 8, so that failed. And then I tried it again. And he used up his bomber to, and a 9 to a 9. So I couldn't roll high enough to make a difference there, but needed about a 3-point split to get him to flip. The hopes was to get him to flip so that he would, possibly be able to be attacked across the river and eliminated, and then I would have another hole to just run something through, but it didn't work out that way. And then I brought this out for an assault by the this guards army and that tank army. It was 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Net +6 to +5. Rolled a 7 to a 9. This is not the one I remember. Okay, so that didn't work well. Retook Munich. Thought about this. Said, no, I'm going to do it this way. Move this tanks army up here. And take a pot shot at the American again. And this guards army moved in here because now the 1st French's supply is cut. The 5th Army can actually trace 1-2 to a rail line in northern Italy, but the 1st French cannot anymore. So on his next turn, he's going to have to do something with the 1st French to try and alleviate that problem. And I was thinking about this, and I think I went back and I started counting production points, and I ended up saying I couldn't take that one because I needed to replenish some guys that were flipped here. Like this guy, that's 2, 4, 6 that I had to flip, and I needed to have 18 left, so I took back that move, which in retrospect was probably the wrong thing to do for the Russians. And the partisans came back in 2 turns, and then that was that. And then we go on to the replacements for the West. Of course, the Americans just come back. Spent the British points. And it was at this point that I think I forgot so the Russians were able to do their thing, and then I realized that I'd forgotten to move my U.S. units from the West at some point here. I think it was in the mobilization phase. And I realized I hadn't moved these guys, so I said, no, that's not fair. The U.S. is going to be allowed to move these buggers, because it would have been just sea movement to the ports anyway. And why aren't they moved? Or was it after? It might have been at some point. Okay, I didn't actually move them inside the log file for some reason. They don't show up. But in reality, before I start the next game, I corrected this. So all of these guys came over here. I hate this map that doesn't roll. I'll just do it this way. And what they did is they came in down here. I believe I put, I think I put the 1st, the 3rd, the 7th, and the task force. So at the start of the next video, that you'll see that these guys are here. The Russians have a huge breakthrough going on. Oh no, this is August. These guys were, I take that back. These guys were just built at the end of August. That's what that was. So I'm incorrect. They will be there at the beginning of September. Okay. So I was correct. These guys are actually in North America. And as you'll see in the next video, me not moving this this unit to here, because I didn't do this, the Americans are actually going to be able to form a very holdable line, which is going to be very bad for me. Anyway, that's the August turn of 1945. I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. I will answer comments. Maybe not as fast as you might like, because I'm doing lots of things at the moment. But I will get around to talking back to you and discussing whatever you see in here. Next up will be September of 1945, and we will see if the Allies can hang on. They only have 3 willpower left. They've got to recapture some cities and do some things. Yeah, so until next time, I'm Dren608. Everybody stay safe, and I'll see you later.